Okay, so to make your two stands, you will need two bases. These were 99 cents a piece at Michael's. You'll need a dowel rod. This is 36 inches, very skinny. Also for Michael's, your spray paint or glitter paint of your choosing, some twine, and of course your coffee stirrer stick stars. You can also use a drill to attach your dowel rod to the base. If you don't have a drill or don't want to use one, I can also show you another way of doing that. You will need also a hot glue gun and some hot glue. First, I'm cutting my dowel rod in half, and to secure to the base using a drill, it's pretty simple. Just find a drill bit that is about the same size or slightly larger than your dowel, drill through, and hot glue it in place. Make sure to be careful not to drill through your table or your fingers, and let it dry. If you don't have a drill or don't want to use one, you can take some cardstock. I'm just using a coupon that I got in the mail because it was thick. And cutting 3 or 4 notches about halfway up, you're going to use the dowel to roll it into a position that'll hold better when you glue it down. Then you just glue the top half to the very, very edge of the dowel so that when you flay out the bottom, you've created a little base that you can just glue directly to your wooden base. Glue that into place and make sure to hold it down until it's fully dry. For a little bit of extra stability, you can swish the glue out a bit and even add some more glue on top. It really doesn't matter what it looks like because you're going to paint over it and cover it with twine. At 18 inches, I realized that my dowels were just a bit too tall, so I trimmed them down closer to 12 inches, and now I'm just trying to decide how I want to arrange my stars. You can do this any way you want, from largest to smallest or smallest to largest. I like asymmetry but balance, and so I'm actually gluing my stars slightly off center, and then I'm adding them in a pattern where the stars appear to sort of undulate and curve towards the bottom. You can really do this any way. The base should be heavy enough and your stars should be light enough that no matter how you glue them, the whole thing will be nice and sturdy, but you might want to consider balancing them out just to make sure that your sculpture doesn't topple over. For some texture and just something to add a little bit of kind of movement to the piece, I am wrapping the base of the dowel in twine. Now, because I'm making this project up as I go along, I did realize in hindsight that it would have been easier to do this before putting the stars on, but it's not so hard. You just have to kind of work around them. I'm just hot gluing the end of the twine to the base. It doesn't really matter how because you don't really see it. And I'm taking the rest of the twine and just kind of loosely working it around the bottom of the sculpture. I'm wrapping it behind the stars. I think I'm going to wrap a little bit in front. I might go in between. You can really just play around with it. And I'm only going to secure it in a couple of places with glue. That way it just has its kind of loose, curly form. What's nice is that the twine comes on a spool, so it's naturally kind of curly. And once I've decided how much of it I want to wrap around the bottom, I'm going to let a little bit of it kind of float up to the top and just kind of curl however it wants to curl. And to finish, just give the entire thing a nice coat of spray paint. You want to make sure to spray it from every angle, that way you get the wood and the twine all saturated. To finish out my mantle display, I took 3 glass tumblers that I already had, wrapped all of them in twisted towel paper to make sort of a giant coil. Then I wrapped that in twine and tied on one of my stars. I then just brushed some gold paint on the whole thing, and I think I even added some burlap to one of them for a little bit of extra texture. And for a final touch and a pop of color, I made this using a bottle that I already had, my very last star, some twine, and a couple of pine cones from my yard. And here it is, my last minute 2-hour night before Christmas display. As always, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and it inspires you to do something similar on your own. If so, send me pictures and subscribe for more ideas.